What's up, LTD addicts? Dave Swift here, and today we're talking about Endorsal. Endorsal is a software as a service that's designed to help you get more reviews for your business. Now, if I sound like a broken record here, that's because I just released a video on Starfish Reviews, another sea life-based review platform that's designed to help you get more reviews for your business. Now, the main difference is that Starfish Reviews is a WordPress-based solution, and Endorsal is a software as a service. So there are pluses and minuses to each aspect, and let's get into it here in this video. This is the AppSumo deal page. Let's go on down to the plans and codes to see what the offering is. So for $49, you're going to get in the door, and one of the main differences here comes apparent right away in that, if you remember the Starfish Reviews, the lowest plan was a little bit more stingy with how many sites you got. You only got one site. Well, with a software as a service, the number of sites you use it on isn't really as much of an issue to them as how much you're accessing their server. So the limitation that they're really putting on you is how many monthly active users you can have. Now, there is a site limitation. It's 5 sites, but I feel like that is a little bit more, they really just want to make sure that there's a reason to upgrade there. So not saying that's a good or a bad thing. It is what it is, right? So if you have all 50,000 users on a single site, they don't really care if it's distributed probably across 10 sites. It wouldn't make any difference to their overhead. So the way this is going to work is as you add more codes, you're going to basically scale this proportionately. You'll get 50,000 more active users per code. You'll get 250 monthly submissions, and 5 sites per code. Now, there are some other features. As you go up to 2 codes, you're going to get some additional premium features. We have this Incentivized Request, which is essentially when you're asking someone to leave a review, you can say, hey, if you leave a review, you will get, say, a coupon code after you leave the review. And then after they submit, you can display the code to them. The Wall of Love, that is essentially an infinite scrolling page of all of your reviews. Basically, you'll be getting reviews in, and that'll just display them in an infinitely scrolling page. And then you also get the Fomo Pop-Ups. Those are the little pop-ups that show in the corner to say that someone reviewed your product or service. That comes with 2 codes. If you go up to 3 codes, you're also going to unlock custom form domains. So as you send out a form to a client, it will show up as your own domain. So that's quite nice to have. I like that. And you can also get white labeling, meaning that you can remove all trace of Endorsal and it'll look like it's your own platform that you're using. So that's essential if you're doing this with an agency and you want your clients to think that this is your own platform. All right, so the next step is to go up to 5 codes, and that is where things get rather crazy. You're going to get 2.5 million monthly active users, unlimited submissions, and unlimited sites. So really, heavy traffic here. You're not going to have to worry about too many restrictions. If you're getting over 2.5 million, you're probably spending quite a bit of money on paid traffic, and you could probably, afford any overages they might charge you. There's one thing I don't know about is how much they charge you if you do go over your monthly active users. I'll have to look into that. But without further ado, I've already got my Endorsal account set up. So why don't we go ahead and just get an overview for how all of this works. All right, so here is my Endorsal account. You can see that right now I'm on my client AMP property. That's going to be how many sites you have according to how many codes you bought. So I do actually have the 5 stack here. So I'm able to add unlimited properties. And I'm just going to go through, kind of give you a broad overview of the features here. So I won't add a new property yet, but we'll do that in a second. If I go home, I can see kind of a dashboard of everything that's going on with this particular property. And I also see this quick start guide to help me get started. But rather than going through that quick start guide, I just want to take you through the sidebar. So the testimonials, this is where you'll see all of your incoming testimonials as they are submitted from your customers. Endo forms, that is a unique name, but essentially what this is the forms that you'll be sending out to your clients or to your customers so that they can complete a testimonial on your behalf. We'll be digging into that deeper in a moment. Widgets, these are how you will display the testimonials on your website. I'll just create a new widget here to show you what it looks like, and then maybe we'll revisit this in a moment. But basically, we can display multiple testimonials on a single page, or we can do a single testimonial. These will both be embedded on your website. Super links. Now, this is an interesting concept. Super link is a link to your endo form You see why we had to get this vocabulary out of the way before we dug into the platform. A super link is a link to your submission form, your testimonial submission form, that will be automatically populated based on information that you provide. So if we look at this right now, I'll create a new super link and I'll call it demo. One thing about the user interface that I'll just add in is there's no next button. So you kind of have to like click away for step 2 to show up. It's a little bit disorienting at the beginning, but you start to get used to it. All right, so I have 2 different types of super links I can create. A dynamic link that will pull in data from your CRM. So if you're going to send this link out through MailChimp or through SendFox or something like that uses personalization tags, they're going to try to automatically pre-fill the form for you to make it more friction-free for your guests to be able to fill out a form. So clicking on the dynamic link, what we'd want to do is go through here and fill in the short code or whatever personalization tag your email provider gives for a first name, email address, company. You probably don't want to pre-fill the rating, but if you want to be presumptuous and just drop a 5 in there, you could do that as well. I don't know that most people will have a avatar URL, but maybe if they're on your WordPress site or something, there's a way to pull it in from your CRM. Of course, you can leave some of these fields blank. You do have the other option to send out a personalized link. Let's say you had a high-profile person that you wanted to review your company. You could fill out everything for them and just submit it to them so that all they needed to do was actually type in the testimonial. They didn't have to enter any data themselves. You can even drop in a photo of them if you had one. So you just create that link, and then if we go back out here to the dashboard, when you're ready to send out your email, you'd copy that link and paste it in. Then when your recipient clicks on it, they will have their form filled out, their endo form filled out. Essentially, what we've got here is we're sending out links to forms to get people to fill out testimonials so we can display them on our website. All right, so then we have 2 other features that were unlocked as I stacked. First, we have Wall of Love. That is that infinitely scrolling page with all of the reviews that people have left. There's some customization options here to say how many columns are displayed, the minimum rating so you can cut people off. And then the next feature down here is the Fomo Pop-Ups. And this is essentially a pop-up in the corner that displays a testimonial. I'm actually going to take you out to the Endorsal website because they have this embedded right inside of their website. Here we go. This is Martin Brody giving a review. So basically, this is what it looks like, is a little testimonial with how many stars, and then you can even have a call to action. So here it's to get signed up for Endorsal. So looking pretty good there. I like those Fomo pop-ups in terms of if I'm going to have Fomo pop-ups, those are nicely styled ones. So I appreciate that. All right, so let's dig in a little bit deeper and kind of see what flexibility we have. I think the most important part is the endo form. So let's start with that. And I want to call out some differences here with Starfish Reviews as we go, because Starfish Reviews was a really bare bones looking plugin, right? There wasn't all of this beautiful user interface to set things up, and the forums themselves didn't have a lot of style to them. You're kind of left to style that on your own using WordPress and maybe some CSS. So obviously this has quite a look to it. In fact, we can preview what a form will look like right here. So someone would get, I haven't filled out any of the content here, but they would be asked to fill in their avatar. So there's a photo to display. Then they would enter their name, email address, company, give it a star review and some comments. So looks quite nice. I like the little animation with the star review. It makes it look very fancy. We do have a Powered by Endorsal icon down here at the bottom. And then you would also see as I update this, actually you can, why don't I add in my photo and we can just see what this would look like. All right, there we go. I completed the section over here and you can see what the testimonial will look like over on the side. Now, in this case, I didn't add in a lot of copy. And so the text is kind of off-centered. You'd think that this might be centered, and let's see if there's a way to actually adjust that. Let's go back into the back end here and see what customization options we have. I can add a logo. Let me go ahead and do that. I can choose my theme color. I think I'm going to choose maybe a dark gray here. We'll add a title to our form. There's a spot for some introduction text here. I'm going to leave it as is. I think the pre-filled text sounds just fine. Then we have the avatar sync. So it will offer the ability to sync with these platforms. If you wanted to turn one off for any reason, you could, or you could disable it altogether. And I would expect that to update over here. No, it doesn't. But maybe after I update the form here, it will actually. Let's try that just to see. Yeah, there we go. We can start to see what our form looks like. Looking good. All right, the Endorsal branding is right here. Remember, that's at the bottom of the form. I can click that, turn it off, we'll update, and it goes away. Then there is the option to add your own custom domain. So you could have something like feedback.clientamp.com, have a subdomain of your primary domain so that those forms look like they're branded to your company. And that's important, I know, to a lot of companies. So that's all set up. I'll go ahead and hit update form, and let's view the form. We can see what it looks like now. So I stripped away a lot of the color by changing my theme color to that dark gray. But it looks fairly good. I like that they didn't give you too much control because you can't really break it. However, if you are precise and you have very specific brand demands, you might find this to be a little bit limiting. So just keep that in mind, that this is what it's going to look like. You're not going to be able to style it very, very particularly. I think this would be interesting to see what it looks like if we go ahead and pull this into mobile view. Looks like it still shows the live preview. I wonder if that is because I started here first. There we go. So there we go. The live preview is down at the bottom. Looks pretty good on a mobile phone. Actually, this is an iPad view. Let's go ahead and switch it over to an iPhone 10. And there we go. It still looks good. So very mobile responsive right out of the box, as you would expect. So I like that a lot. All right, let's go ahead and check out this field section over here. This is where you'll be able to turn on and off the fields in your form. You can customize this so that it has only the fields that you want, but you can't add very many new ones. So you can't like add a custom field. So for example, we can turn on the position field, or maybe turn off the company field if you're just asking for consumers to report back. You don't want to know what company they work for. You can turn that off, but you can add in, say, your own custom field. Maybe you're interviewing moms and you want to say, how many children do you have? You can't do that, so that it pops up, Tracy, mother of four, whatever. That's not the ability to, it's not built in. We can't add our own custom fields. The only fields we can't turn off are the name field and then the comments field down here. Those are on for good. Moving over to the submission settings. So this is what it's going to look like after someone submits. We got some text here. Thanks, your testimonial has been submitted. And then the important stuff is to publish other services. So if we turn on this Facebook option or this Google option, then we can paste in our link. And then we can also turn on this Incentivized Request option, because I stacked enough codes to unlock this. And that will essentially tell someone, hey, if you complete this form, you'll get a reward. And then you'd actually put the reward in here. So as their example, they say get 10% off your next order when you use the code SAVE10. You can also turn on the visit button, which offers your customers the chance to visit your website or any other link you'd like, really, after they complete the form. Now, the important distinction here between Starfish Reviews is, if you remember, Starfish Reviews was really more about filtering out negative people to try to help them improve, having them contact you directly, and then only asking the people with a positive experience to go leave a review on the public website. In fact, it didn't even ask for them to leave a review on your site, because most of the time, people are going to be researching you on the review sites before they actually get to your own website. So there is the option to get those reviews that someone left here. You can ask them to then paste it into the form. Let me show you what this looks like. Okay, so this is the Endorsal test form. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this out quickly. You can see over on the right, there is a yellow box telling me I'll earn an incentive. But really what I want to show you is, we'll look at that incentive after it's unlocked. But what I want to show you is the ability to ask someone to post the review on something like Facebook or Google after you're done. All right, so this is what it looks like to your customer after they fill out the form. It's going to offer you to review on Facebook or review on Google My Business. Now, it does say down here that they've copied the comments to your clipboard. So all you have to do is paste the review in. But this is a very important friction point because, well, one, someone might think, you get the feeling that you're done when you fill out a form. I completed the review. moving on. I'm done with this. I've already done my good deed for the day. The chance that they will have to read this is probably pretty low. I would guess that most people are just going to close the box right at this point. If they're going to look at anything, they're probably going to look at this big yellow box down here that has the reward that you've offered them, the coupon code or a download link or something like that. So I think this is not going to be a very effective tool to actually get people to go out and leave reviews on other sites. I really wish I like the software as a service aspect to it because it's going to allow you to easily use this tool on places like Shopify or ClickFunnels or any other medium that you're hosting websites on. So I love that aspect to it, but I really wish there was more of the Starfish reviews functionality built in. If the two products could combine, it would be unstoppable. All right, so let's go back and look at a little bit more of this plugin. All right, I'm back on the dashboard and I want to talk about a step on the quick start guide, of actually the first step that I've skipped over to this point. And that's the fact that we have to add a tracking code to the website in order to display Endorsal widgets. Now, the fact that they named this tracking code, I think, is probably what bothers me the most. Like, what are you tracking? There should be nothing to track, but that's what they're calling it. So what we have to do is actually copy this, and then we want to paste it before the closing head tag, only on pages that you want the widget to appear. So it's not as though you have to have it on every page of your site. Let me go ahead and get this rolling on my WordPress site, and we'll see how it affects page speed in 1 second. All right, so I've gone ahead and installed the tracking code. You can see that it says it's active. Here's the site. Not really seeing anything on it quite yet. If I go over to Pingdom and I'll insert the URL here and we'll run a test and see what the speed of the site is right now. All right, so you can see this page is loading in 2.5 seconds. It's got 117 requests and the page size is 1.5 megabytes. That is with the code. Let's go ahead and verify that the code is on. So I just confirmed the Endorsal tracking code is loading, and it's loading very quickly. It's only adding 3 elements. We've got a couple different files that it's adding to the page right here. Overall, the size is right around a kilobyte. It's very, very small. So no real concerns here about the code. We can disable the code and just do a quick A/B test to see how it'll impact site speed, whether it speeds up at all. All right, so I've disabled the Endorsal tracking code. Let's go ahead and rerun our test over on Pingdom. Let's start test again. We're using the same server. All right, so we can see the results here. They're very, very, very similar as I'd expected because, the Endorsal plugin was not, or the tracking code really was not doing a whole heck of a lot. And we can confirm here that it is not loading at all. 114 requests this time. The page load time has gone down by, a tenth of a second, and you really can't measure anything on that because I could run this test 3 or 4 times and it'll give me back slightly different results every time. So overall, that's good news. The tracking code, even though I don't like that it's there, I don't like putting extra code on my site, it's not slowing things down at all. All right, it's time for my final thoughts. I really do like Endorsal. It's hard not to enjoy using the platform. It's a very beautiful, modern user interface. Makes you feel good, interacting with it. It's fast and it's snappy. That's what I look for in a software as a service. But there's those 2 things I already mentioned in this video that are holding me back from absolutely loving it. The first one is the lack of filtering. There's no way to ask people if they had a good or bad experience before they leave a review. Or in fact, all they really need to do is say, if you had less than 3, don't offer to leave a review on the page. Now, that is a question of maybe ethics, but also a question of violating the terms of the site. Some sites don't let you do that, like Google and Yelp don't let you filter. So, you want to use caution when you proceed with those tactics, although it's not even an option here with Endorsal. The other thing that bothers me is I wish you could just ask them to leave the review directly on the site. In fact, I think that's probably the better path because what Endorsal will do, I haven't actually mentioned it yet, but you can integrate. Let's jump back over to the screen. You can integrate with Facebook and Google, and they're talking about bringing more sites in as well so that after a review's been left, Endorsal will pull them in. And to me, that might be a lot more beneficial. You can still use their widgets on your site, but you'll be able to pull them in directly from Facebook or Google, which is where you want to get the reviews, right? Unless, you probably want to get them on Yelp and places like that as well. So, if they could expand that, I feel like it would be a stronger play towards the future feature of this product. So that said, I really like this. If it fits with your use case, it is fast and very easy to use. Once you get over their naming conventions, it's fairly simple. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8.2. I think it's got a bright future ahead. I went ahead and stacked it, to the ceiling. I got a 5 stack for myself, and I'm not planning on returning this one. I think I'm going to hold on to it. It looks like it's a keeper, but those little things I would love to see addressed in the future. All right, so that's going to do it for this review. If you've enjoyed the review, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and just generally try to get the word out because Black Friday is coming, and man, we got a ton of reviews coming for you soon. So if you want to grab this deal, the link is down below in the comments as always, and I'll see you in the next review.